Hey guys, it's Jill. It's Monday night, the 15th of July, and I wanted to talk a little bit about collective consciousness because, um, because it's storming outside, and it kind of had me thinking about the storm that we're in right now as Americans. 6 days ago, I posted a video about using our intuition and discernment in dangerous situations, about false flag events, and about keeping our kids off social media. 4 days later, there was an assassination attempt on a presidential nominee. Now, there are reasons that I believe this was a false flag event, and I want to explain to you my reasoning behind it. So I have been studying transcendental meditation since 2021. I have been I've been practicing meditation since probably 2014 in my everyday practice, but I have been a meditation guide for the past 4 years. And sometimes I can tap into different levels of consciousness. Now, Tuesday evening, when I was prompted to make the video about false flags, something around me had shifted. There was an energy in the air that there was going to be chaos. Now, I had a house full of children that night, so there was already collective chaos. But Friday night, I took my daughter to our local Walmart, and we were walking through the store, and the energy was just completely off. Okay, there was people yelling at their children, people bickering, and Doja Cat playing over the overhead speaker. And I thought, where are we headed? What are we doing? And why do I feel this way? Like, this is not how society is supposed to be. We are supposed to be living in commune and happy and jovial, speaking to one another and kindly, okay? So, what I believe happened is that there was a plan being formulated, and it caught a track of consciousness, because here's what happens. If you have a lone gunman and he's here in this web of consciousness, okay, he is going to ping people close to him when he's going to come unglued. Mentally, something is shifting. He's probably going to ping mom, dad, grandma, a sibling, or a significant other. So now we have 5 people around this person, right? Here's what happens when you're formulating a plan that involves multiple people. So now you have a gunman, and you have the person who came up with the plan, and you have the people who are involved in the plan. And now when you're doing something that is against the norm, or that you know is not right, or that has a potential to be, let's say, discovered, then all of these people are sending out waves, okay? And those people are all pinging people around them. And so what happens is that it starts to gain momentum. And when a thought form gains momentum, then multiple people catch on, and it expands and it expands. We've been told, right? Einstein's theory of relativity told us that gravity will warp space and time. So if you have people walking around the planet with the same consciousness, thinking about the same thing, it creates a vibrational resonance. And that is what I picked up on, was that there was chaos in the atmosphere, and it was building momentum until it came to fruition. 4 days. It's probably not the fastest I've manifested anything, but it's the fastest that I've ever seen it on a grand scale. I really thought that was interesting to me. So, yesterday, I woke up and I was contemplating what had happened Saturday, and I was covered in hives. And I thought, is it going to happen again now that we've talked about it? Because now a lot of doors are open, right? If this was a flag, then other people are going to start thinking about, what kind of violence can I incite? Where would I like to do that? And it's not the way that we want people to think, but we're so programmed for negativity in this country because we live in a state of chaos. And one thing that I found interesting about the shooter was that he was 20 years old. Now, we have a front part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, and that part of the brain, the interior frontal lobe, okay, the prefrontal cortex, doesn't fully develop until you're 25. Now, in people with PTSD, people with severe trauma, people with Alzheimer's and dementia, we're moving dimensions right now, actually, because this is not something I ever thought I would be speaking on. But when you have things like that, it diminishes your ability to think rationally and to make decisions, especially during fight or flight. So in talking about being in a situation where you have to sort of remove yourself quickly, like say you were in an active shooter situation, what happens is the blood actually drains from your prefrontal cortex and it takes away your thoughts and reasoning skill. So we actually have to circumvent the fight or flight. And we can do that, okay, through proper technique, through breathing, through conscious awareness of where we are in space and time. You can override your body's fight or flight so that you can bring yourself into homeostasis and make the decisions that are best for you, which includes following your intuition. A lot of technology now has eliminated our intuition. People are so glued to their screens and they're so reliant upon our phone to remember phone numbers, mapping to take us where we want to go. But it wasn't like this thousands of years ago. We had innate intuition to say, okay, which direction should I go if I want to find, let's say, a food store? And you'd be driving down the road and say you look to your left, you look to your right, there's nothing on either side. If you ask yourself, which way should I go? Your guidance, your intuition will tell you, should you go right? Should you go left? And you will normally end up where you need to be. This goes for finding water. Say you were in an emergency situation and you needed to get to water, especially running water. Your intuition will take you there. But you have to learn to use it, and we have to learn to trust it. And meditation can do that for you because it helps you to go internal and dive into the subconscious parts of our brain where we hold not only all of our subconscious fear programming, but all of the good things that we know too. So in meditation, when our thoughts come, we sort of let them come to the surface, and then it's up to us to decide, is this a good thought? Is this a bad thought? Is this a helpful thought? Is this where I need to be? And so mindfulness and meditation can bring us back to the self. And I think that this is going to be really important as we move forward. There's a lot of things that I want to say, but I don't want to get political. I just want you to know that if you are in a situation and you start to feel energy shift and change, trust it. Trust yourself, okay? Because everything is shifting and changing right now. Look at where things that are not normally used as weapons are being weaponized, because anything that can be used as a tool can also be used as a weapon. And there are a couple books right now that are being weaponized. One of those books warns us to beware of false idols, and I think that right now that's something we really need to be aware of. All right, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for listening if you tuned in. If you'd like to discuss anything that I talked about, please hit me up, do some research. There's a lot of information out there, but trusting the self is super, super important. Coming out of the hive mind and really tapping into your own awareness rather than these group thoughts is beneficial. But these group thoughts, when they take hold in the collective, they need to be looked at and they need to be assessed. And that was why I made the video that I did 6 days ago. So, all right, I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.